Everyone around you is going to get it wrong. When society collapses and the streets go quiet, the panicking masses will move in one direction, and that direction will get them killed. Watch them swarm the obvious places, the corner store, the pharmacy, the fuel pump. They'll claw at each other over expired canned goods and half-empty water jugs, convinced they've cracked the survival code. They haven't. Because while they're bleeding and screaming over a shopping cart full of instant noodles, something extraordinary is happening 2 blocks over. Every vacant office tower, every shut-down school, every locked-up restaurant, dental clinic, and laundromat is sitting completely untouched. Doors wide open, shelves full, not a single desperate soul anywhere near them. These buildings aren't empty, they're loaded. Groceries keep you breathing for a week. What I'm about to walk you through keeps you alive for a year or longer. Here are the 8 things you need to pull from every abandoned building you set foot in. Number 1. Fire extinguishers. Before you roll your eyes, hear me out. You're about to completely rethink what this object actually is. Inside every standard commercial extinguisher is dry chemical powder, monoammonium phosphate. The average person sees white dust. You should see concentrated phosphorus and nitrogen. Fertilizer. Premium-grade crop nutrition you'll desperately need the moment stored food runs out and you're forced to grow your own calories. Come spring, that powder could be what separates a thriving survival garden from a failed harvest. The canister itself is equally valuable. Once emptied, you're holding a pressure-rated steel vessel, a compressed air tank, a heavy-duty water container, or housing for an improvised signaling device. And if someone comes at you? A fully pressurized extinguisher blasted into an attacker's face delivers instant blindness, a choking chemical cloud, and a wall of white fog that buys you the seconds you need to escape or counterattack. These are mounted in plain sight on every wall of every building on Earth. Bright red, impossible to miss. And people walk straight past them to wrestle over a bag of chips. Don't be those people. Number 2. Ceiling tiles and fiberglass insulation. This sounds absurd until you do the math on what actually kills people in a prolonged collapse. Cold is near the top of that list. Most people's plan is build a fire, and that plan has 3 serious problems. Fire eats fuel you have to constantly source. It pumps smoke into the air that acts as a beacon for miles. And in a sealed space, it produces carbon monoxide that kills you silently while you sleep. Insulation does none of those things. It's completely passive, requires 0 maintenance, and works around the clock. Commercial ceiling tiles are purpose-built to trap air and resist heat transfer. Pull them down by the armload from any abandoned office or school corridor. Light, stackable, and surprisingly effective. Line the walls and ceiling of a small room, and you dramatically slash heat loss. Get into the walls and you find the real prize. Fiberglass batt insulation. Wrap your sleeping space in it. Stuff it into window gaps and door frames. Your own body heat stops bleeding into the atmosphere and gets trapped right there with you. One critical warning. Gloves and face covering are non-negotiable. The microscopic glass fibers will shred your skin and embed in your lungs. Number 3. 9-volt batteries from smoke detectors. While everyone else brawls over the last pack of AAs, look at the ceiling. Every commercial building is legally required to have smoke detectors. In a large structure, you're looking at dozens, sometimes hundreds of units, and inside almost every single one sits a fresh 9-volt battery nobody has touched in years. In a world where the grid is permanently dark, stored electrical energy is one of the most valuable things you can possess. Those batteries power transistor radios, your only connection to emergency broadcasts. They run LED lights that let you move through darkness without advertising your position. And they have nothing to do with electronics. Touch the terminals to a pad of fine steel wool, and the short circuit ignites it instantly. Reliable wind-proof fire starting that works when your lighter is empty and your matches are soaked. A single sweep of one 3-story office building can net you 30, maybe 40 batteries. Months of portable power, secured in complete silence. You walk out the most electrically wealthy person in the neighborhood, and nobody even knows you were there. Number 4. Restaurant cooking oil. Head straight to the back of every abandoned restaurant kitchen because what's sitting beside the fryer is one of the most criminally underrated survival resources in existence. Looters skip it every time. It's bulky, it's greasy, it's not dramatic. That is a catastrophic mistake. Cooking oil is pure caloric density. A single tablespoon contains roughly 120 calories. A standard 5-gallon commercial jug holds nearly 39,000 calories, close to 3 weeks of supplemental nutrition for one person. When starvation is the enemy, calories are the only currency that matters. But it doesn't stop at food. Oil lubricates tools and keeps hinges from squeaking and announcing your position. It's lamp fuel. A wick in a jar of oil produces steady light without touching your battery supply. It waterproofs boots and leather gear. And combined with ash and water, it becomes the base for soap. In a long-term collapse, infection from minor wounds kills more survivors than violence does. Hygiene is medical infrastructure. One restaurant kitchen is an untouched gold mine. Number 5. Prescription eyeglasses. This one surprises people every time. Nearly 3/4 of all adults rely on vision correction. In normal life, losing your glasses is annoying. In a collapsed world where contact lens solution vanishes in the first week and prescription manufacturing is gone, losing your vision is the functional equivalent of losing a limb. You can't read labels. You can't identify threats at distance. You can't do the precise work required to repair equipment or treat wounds. An abandoned optometrist's office is sitting there with hundreds of frames across a massive prescription range, and nobody is touching them. Glasses don't look valuable to a panicking person. But to someone who snapped their last pair a week ago, they're worth everything. You can trade a matching prescription for virtually any commodity. They will hand you their last food source just to see clearly again. The lenses also work as fire-starting magnifiers in direct sunlight. The frames contain tiny screws and wire invaluable for repairing delicate gear, weightless in your pack, priceless in the field. Number 6. Copper wiring from the walls. This takes more physical effort than grabbing something off a shelf. The return is enormous. Every commercial building is threaded floor to ceiling with copper electrical wiring. When the grid dies, that wiring loses its electrical function, but not its value. Stripped of insulation, copper wire is pliable, incredibly strong, and completely rust-resistant. For hunting, braided copper wire makes snare traps for small game. Set them before you sleep and wake up to protein without spending a single round of ammunition. Your food supply works while you rest. Wound into the correct coil configuration, copper wire builds a crystal radio receiver that pulls in AM broadcasts with zero power required. No batteries, just signal indefinitely while everyone around you is in a complete information blackout. Heavy gauge wire also bends into fishing hooks, shelter fasteners, and perimeter alarm triggers around your camp. A 20-foot section pulled from a single wall weighs nothing, coils into your jacket pocket, and solves problems you haven't even encountered yet. Number 7. Medical supplies hiding in plain sight. The moment a crisis ignites, pharmacies become either empty shells or fortified territory controlled by armed groups within the first 12 hours. Everybody knows to go there, which is exactly why you shouldn't. Every commercial building has a first aid kit mounted somewhere. Looters walk straight past them because they look boring and institutional. Inside, bandages, gauze, antiseptic wipes, medical tape, antibiotic ointments. In a world without hospitals, a small infected cut kills you just as dead as a gunshot wound. Check desk drawers too. People stash personal medications at work. Ibuprofen, antihistamines, emergency inhalers, spare prescription bottles. Things that become irreplaceable when manufacturing has stopped. Find a dental office and you've hit something special. Topical anesthetics like lidocaine, sterile surgical instruments, medical-grade disinfectants, all fully stocked and completely untouched. Find a veterinary clinic and that's the jackpot. Veterinary antibiotics are frequently chemically identical to human equivalence dose for dose. While people are dying of bacterial infections because every pharmacy was stripped on day one, the animal hospital down the street is sitting full and completely ignored. Number 8. Books, not fiction, reference books, technical manuals, the kind of knowledge that used to live on your phone and in search engines that no longer exist. When the internet disappears permanently, everything humanity has learned about keeping people alive, fixing infrastructure, growing food, and treating disease evaporates, unless it's printed on paper in your hands. You want mechanical maintenance manuals that teach you to repair systems everyone else is baffled by, plumbing and electrical textbooks, because the person who can restore water and basic power becomes the most valuable member of any community instantly. Regional plant identification guides, knowing exactly which weed is edible and which one shuts your kidneys down, is a genuine superpower. Medical reference texts, because when no doctors remain, someone has to fill that role. And paper maps, city, county, regional. GPS satellites may still orbit, but your device isn't talking to them anymore. The person who can navigate the old way moves freely while everyone else stands lost. Books don't rot. They don't need charging. They don't break when dropped. A single backpack of the right reference material is worth more than almost any physical tool you could carry instead. Here's what the right decision actually looks like. While the city's population is packed shoulder to shoulder at the grocery store, screaming, shoving, risking their lives over the last case of water, you're somewhere else entirely. You've walked through one vacant office building, quietly, without confrontation. You leave with insulation that turns a freezing room into a livable shelter. Batteries that keep your communications running for months. Copper wire building traps that feed you while you sleep. A fire extinguisher ready to fertilize a garden or stop a threat. Medical supplies that treat wounds that would kill the unprepared. And reference books containing the knowledge to rebuild something resembling a life. You didn't fight anyone. You didn't fire a shot. You didn't compete over a single item the mob was chasing. Because the mob never understood what survival actually demands. Food and water disappear in hours. Gas stations run dry before most people have even processed what's happening. But the buildings nobody thinks to enter, the offices, the schools, the clinics, the restaurants, they sit there quietly, fully loaded, waiting. They're not abandoned. They're supply depots in disguise. Make sure you're the one who recognizes them for what they are.